Walker Bank stories.
Yeah, I took a job cleaning Walker Bank at night times, 5 hours a night for I think it went 6 months each time, and there was times in between, but all total was 6 months at a time. And one time I was cleaning and threw a box down in the basement there, and it set off the alarm. And so I went out and acted like I didn't know what was happening. They shut all the doors and locked them, and nobody could get in or out. And they never did find out what happened.
But when you go up on the roof too.
You could go up on this roof, that's where that light is,
Right.
where they tell the weather.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, I asked this guy that does that, I said, how do you know? He said, oh, I listen to the radio when they say I turn it on. And everybody thought that he knew what the weather was going to be.
That's funny. When you worked at IMCO, there was a lot of strikes that you would go through. Some of the stories of
Yeah,
being
when
on
they'd
strike.
go on strike, I'd always find a job, and I was always able to find a job. I painted Little America one time. I didn't know how to paint, and they asked me if you did, and I said, I can paint. So I went to Deseret Paint and rented a paint gun and got the paint and went down and painted that. And then I worked in that time with a fellow who was there. We built a steakhouse down at the bottom, and I went with him to tear down this old refinery type of thing that had good wood there, and we put the wood up on the sides for downstairs. I drove taxi cab one time, and that was a bad job, going into bars and bringing out drunks and everything. And I worked at the paint company for one time, and I always had a job to be able to support my family when we was on strike.
Yeah, wasn't were you working at one time when there was a strike, or at IMCO though still, or you went on strike and then the UPS or some people had to?
Yeah, UPS was the only truck that went through our picket line. They pretty near cried, said, I'll fire if I don't go through your line. So we let him through, but other truckers honored our picket line.
Oh, that's good. Stories working at the cemetery.
Yeah, it's another summer when I was in high school. I worked at the city cemetery. I was spot waterer, and then I had some grounds that I had to water also. It was a good job. First time I had a lot of people under me. But anyway, one time I was sitting there eating my lunch, and this one grave, I saw dirt come flipping up there. I thought, what's going on there? It was a new grave. And anyway, after a while, a little squirrel pinks his head up through.
You thought the spirit was coming out. Bowling alley stories.
Yeah, when I was 14, I got a job at the Desert Gym bowling alley, setting pins. Them was the times when you had to set them by hand and put them up on the rack and throw the ball back in the roller. People would roll double sometimes and get you in the legs, and that, but they paid us 7 cents a line. And anyway, so one time these girls came to bowl, and we put little notes in the ball there and sent them back to them. Nothing came of it though, but that gave me free swimming too, and when I wasn't busy I could bowl. So it was a good job.
I know one of the kids had asked something, and I just put bowling alley down because there was something else that had happened at the bowling alley, it seemed like.
Well, I don't know really of anything else happening there.
But that was fun. I loved it. Any other jobs that I haven't put down that...
Well, we can start when I was young, okay?
Okay.
when I was about 10, I used to deliver flyers for the grocery store all around the neighborhood, and they'd pay me for that. And I sold Saturday Evening Post for a little while, but not too long, I remember. And I didn't have a paper out, but I helped the fellow every once in a while when he'd go on vacation, deliver papers. Let me see what else coming up through. Of course, them jobs that I had, the thing at the bowling alley and the cemetery and the parks department,
And helping build the swimming pool.
yeah, you've got that down there. Yeah, I had jobs all my life, and that Peace Gardens down in Jordan Park down there, they was starting to build that too, so it was right then when I was in high school, and I planted all them pine trees that are there, and they're huge now. But anyway, I planted
In the
them
Peace Gardens?
in the Peace Gardens,
Oh, okay.
along the side of the wall there. So anyway, and then the old Cannon 6th Ward there, we used to have a ball diamond there that Bishop Gold, he'd have candy, old candy there, they would sell that at the ball diamonds. And I was his clerk for a long time. And so Jordan Park was quite a place for us. Brian got his legs slit open down, or ankle, remember, when he jumped off of the little train that was there.
That was the 4th of July injury.
Yeah, we had to take him to the hospital. Yeah. But that you remember them days, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Park.
Yes.
We made good. That's when we had to raise budget money, and that's where we raised our budget. And I was in charge of taking all the money in and counts it and taking it up to the bank.
Can you remember why we're on your church callings then? Because we kind of skipped over to church. Let me see. So you were a ward clerk for.
Well, we'll start with my church callings. Okay. Just when I got married, we lived down the Cannon 6th Ward. The 26th Ward, Pioneer Stake. We lived in a duplex there next door to Laura. And anyway, as soon as I got there, they put me in as the counselor in the Young Men's Presidency. So I was in there for a while, and we had to take care of, they had road shows, and we had outings and with the scouts and with the girls and everything. And I had that for quite a while, and then we moved a year and a half later, we moved over to where our home was on Fremont Avenue. Right when I moved in there, they put me in the Stake Mutual, and I was there for a while. And then I was in the Elders Presidents, and I don't know how putting this in sequence and everything, but then I was 70, and won the presidency of the 70s, and I was a ward clerk for a lot of years for Gus Gold. And then I was the Doloronic priesthood supervisor, and then I came back was in a bishopric with Gaymore Wall as his second counselor. Was in there for 5 years, and then I was in the bishopric with Fred Peck as his first counselor for 5 years. And I was in the bishopric when your mother died, so I was still in there for a while. After your mom died, and then of course I met LaRue, and that's a different story.
And we'll get to that one.
But Larone Ively was charge of the library for 10 years, and we were in charge, before that was in charge of the state baptistry, where we had to get all the names and conduct the meetings and
Feel the font?
fill the fonts, and LaRue done the typing and set up the program, and we was that for 5 years. And then I went to the temple, worked at the temple for 18 years, and just quit the end of last year, 18 years. And so that's what they released us from the library this year. So now my activity is home teaching and going to the temple.
Good. That's all good. So, we'll go back still on the church thing. What was your favorite calling? This is what Mark wants to know.
My favorite calling?
Out of all those.
Of course, I like the temple. That was spirituality.
Okay. When you were sitting as a ward clerk, you would eyeball us kids to make us stay good while we sat with Mom.
That's when I was the ward clerk, and found out later Brian used to fuss, so your mom would send him up to sit with me. I didn't know that until later. He told me.
Oh, I can't remember that, but I remember we didn't dare to do anything bad because you would look at us.
An eagle eye on you.
Yeah, yeah. But Mom, she was a very gentle mom. She would rub our backs, rub our hands.
Your mom was gentle, that's for sure.
I remember we couldn't do anything like color, draw, or anything until after the sacrament.
That's right.
You had to be very, very reverent until after the sacrament. But, I mean, you would give us a piece of paper because it made us listen a little better if we were drawing.
And while LaRue and I was here, Brian raising his kids, they sat with us, starting with the oldest one. Jody sat with us for a year or so. I don't know how long it was, honey. But anyway, she sat with us, and that was the same rule there. Nothing to do until after sacrament. And LaRue always had things for him to do. And then the next time it was Jenny's turn. And of course, then Stephanie's turn. And then Mandy's turn. We went through them. It took a few years to get through them all, but they was there with us, and LaRue really handled them good. Worked out fine.
That's good. I know I asked you before, but Carla said she remembers this. Being shot at for not giving someone welfare. Can you remember anybody you were walking home from church and somebody shot at you? Or you could hear it or something?
There was a shot of that, but I can't remember the story, but it seems like it was going on with that, but I can't remember the details or anything.
Okay. So bishopric, you named off how many times you were in the bishopric. So that's, there was a picture of Joseph Smith in the bishop's office behind the curtain. Can you remember that?
Yep. That picture had been there for years and years. It was in the locker in the back. And anyway, when Fred and we got into bishopric, we looked at it and thought, well, it's not doing anything good here. And I said, well, I'll take it up to the museum up in Salt Lake. So I took it up there, and they were glad to get it. And I guess it's been out once or twice. You know, they change his pictures all the time. And so I guess it's been out. They said it will be displayed.
Well, yeah.
It was a nice big picture. We don't know where it came from or anything.
That is so strange, but that's pretty neat. Can you remember a ward member being ran over by a car when we were up at one of our church parties? It was the old couple that lived on the corner by Parkview Elementary School, and they left, and she fell out of the car, and he backed up to get her and ran over her.
Oh, I can't remember that at all.
Oh my God.
All I remember.
And she survived though.
Yeah, all I can remember is Esther Wall was going down the hill, and Sister Jensen was coming uphill, and they went around the curve and bumped into each other
Oh,
on that beat up road going up to our camp.
oh wow. War days at the chicken farm.
Yeah, we had a steak farm, and I remember when they got that farm. I was out there with my dad. I think I was just a deacon, and was putting up a fence. And the last thing that I did at that steak farm was putting the fence up again. It was burnt down. But in between, we raised chickens and had to clean the coops. We painted the outside on the roof one time, and of course the roof comes down to only about 2 feet from the ground, and people every once in a while wanted to come sliding off. It was snowing, and we was doing the roof. One time I was cleaning the coops out, and I jumped over this little wall to clean out there, and I jumped right into the sloop, and all the crap went up in and down my legs. And we planted 2,000 trees one time. They lasted for about 2 weeks. The cattle got into them and ate them all.
Oh.
Little tiny trees. And we had dairy cows too. And one time they got out and 21 of them got on the train tracks and were all killed.
Oh. It's awful.
That was, and after that, the church has done away with all the steak farms now. They've got big ranches and everything.
Okay. Now, when we were growing up as children, we went out to the chicken farms because we still had chicken farms, and it was next to the dump yard.
Yeah.
And eating lunch out there wasn't too fun because of all the seagulls.
Yeah, they used to do that. They had the farm.
Um,
And the youth went out there quite a bit at times doing things.
yeah. Can you remember me being with you on bank runs after church?
Yeah, you'd go with me sometimes going up there.
And we would drop off, like on West Temple and like 17th South, drop the green bag inside.
No, it was at Second South and Main Street.
Oh, okay.
First Security Bank, I think it was.
Okay. But you always had that little green bag.
Yeah, that little green bag with all the money in,
And you
receipts from tithing and everything.
And you would let me drop it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going with you on those. And I have a little green bag that we keep all our tithing information in. And yeah. Stories of Boys Camp. This is 6th Ward when we were growing up. There was one story for sure of one of the Wall boys that went down a glacier, rock glacier, and got all cut up. So, want to expand on that one?
We went up, Gaymore walked up the other hill, was way up above us, over us. And anyway, was it?
Donald, I think.
Donald. He got on this little glacier, went down, and the end was all rocks, and tore open his side open, and yelled at Gaymore, and Gaymore said he got himself up, get himself down. So he took his shirt and tied it around his stomach where it was slit open on the side, and took him back down to camp, and had to wait till everybody go home. Gaymore wouldn't take him home. Another time, a kid got throwing the hatchets and slipped back and came back and got him in his ankle. And Jackson, that was that Jackson kid. And they made him sit and wait till it was time to go home.
Oh, that would never happen today. When did you, in your heart, know that the church was true?
Seemed like it was all my life. I never doubted it at all. I've tried to figure that out, but I've known it all through my life that it was true. Never doubted it at all.
That was Mark's question.
Yeah, never doubted it at all.
Okay. Okay, well,
I guess that's from my mom's knee, teaching me the gospel.
that's neat. Yeah. And it's a sweet story how her parents joined the church because of her sickness.
Yeah, that's quite a thing. Quite
Yeah.
a situation.
This is about you and Mom. When and how did you meet Mom?
Well, I was invited to a party. My friend and I, Harold, we went was invited to this party. And it was to line us up with these girls. So they lined them up with, I don't know who it was that I was supposed to be with, but I started talking to her mother. And that's where I met her. And anyway, so the next day, I think it was General Conference, and she lived up in Salt Lake with her grandmother so she could go to West High, and she lived in Murray. But anyway, I had another girl that I took to conference, and your mom came to conference, and I saw her come in. Anyway, in the afternoon I was going out with this other girl again, and she called me up after we got home after the first session, and took me for a walk and told me, she said, I know you've been watching that other girl in conference. But anyway, I got your mom, and I took her home out to Murray every once in a while, and we started dating there. And we dated for over a year and a half, I think, or so. But anyway, I proposed to her at the Ute Drive-In, and they were singing Good Night, Irene.
I love it. That's neat. So what grandma was she living with?
Grandma Brockbank.
Okay.
And she used to do her hair all the time for her.
I know. I went with her when she lived by the Piccadilly little house
Yeah.
there. I would go with Mom. Yeah.
That was years later.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But that's who she lived with, is Brockbank.
Yeah.
Great Stauffer's mom.
Yeah.
Okay. So what attracted you to Mom? Just seeing her?
I don't know, it just seemed like she had a personality that I liked, I guess.
Okay. And you told us about a year and a half you dated. And you told us how you proposed to her.
Now, was the Ute Drive-In, was that on State Street?
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
close to your
right
place.
by me, yeah.
Yep.
It's still there?
No,
No.
it's an apartment complex. now.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
still there.
When and where were you married?
We were married in the Salt Lake Temple.
What year?
March
29th.
2951.
Okay. How old were you two when you got married?
19.
Both of you? That?
Yep, 19.
Wow. Where did you go on your honeymoon?
Back to work.
Okay. Really? That's it, huh?
Yeah, we went back to work. I had to get going and to get jobs and working and everything, and we didn't have a lot of money at all. We were poor.
Uh-huh. Where did you live after you were married?
We lived in an apartment house about First West. And what street was that? Just around the corner from where Grandma Stauffer was in that nursing home.
Oh, yeah, just up in town.
Yeah, and we lived there for 3 months. I couldn't stand everybody's cooking that I could smell. So we moved down in an apartment next to Laura on Jeremy Street.
Oh, okay. And how long did you live there?
For a year until our house was built.
Okay, who got you to look for a house? I mean, how'd you find out where your house was going to be built?
We just saw an advertisement, big signs saying building new homes. It was a big field there.
Uh-huh.
So we went and we got signed up, and that's what we got.
Were you guys about the first ones to be moved into that house in the area, or?
Oh, I think there was 3 or 4 up on the corner that was in, but then us and Sanders moved in about the same time.
Oh, okay. And so you lived on Jeremy Street while the house was being built. How long did it take for the house to be built?
Well, we're supposed to be in there by Thanksgiving, and we didn't get to go in until March.
Oh, okay. Anniversary gift, I guess. Yeah. How much was your home?
$14,000.
Can you remember what the interest was?
4.25%.
Wow, that's pretty high back then too.
Yeah.
Was the Ward house built when you moved in?
Nope. I helped build when we first got married, we met in an old reform school that was over in Poplar Grove area. And we started building our meeting house. And I did a lot of work on that meeting house. And the day they dedicated, they moved us into another old house on 8th West, the Cannon First Ward. And we started building another ward house. So I worked on that one. I remember working on the roof and on the floor and doing some painting and everything. That's what the people used to do, build everything. And that's the Cannon Sixth Ward that does that.
The one that I went to.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's see.
Where was the Cannon Sixth Ward? Where was that at?
Fremont Avenue.
Okay.
And used to be called 8th West, but turned into 9th West.
Yeah, right.
Weird. Okay, when your mom went out on dates, what kind of dates did you do?
Me and Mom, your mom and me?
Yes.
Well, we did a lot of dancing like we always did in them days. Went to shows, went to our friend's home and played games. And anyway, that's what we did after we got married and what we did before we got married.
Oh, okay. Trips. What kind of trips did you go on?
Your mom and I, or
Yes.
family?
Yeah.
Well, most of it growing up, of course, we've done mostly camping, and we went down to St. George a few times, and we went up to Vernal, place like that, and we took you guys up there one time. Remember that one trip we went? Oh, you weren't on that trip, were you?
No, not in the trailer. I mean, the motorhome. No.
And I just found out the other day that George Robinson died about 1.5 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you rented it from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just plain routines of everything. Your mom and I, we went down to the coast a couple times, and we went up to Oregon once. We didn't do any really great big trips.
Yeah, but those are pretty big. Because I can only count on Ben and I's fingers how many trips we've been on.
I was just too interested in saving money.
Yeah. Or just surviving.
Yeah, that's a lot there too.
Yeah.
Right, honey?
Mm.
Yeah.
They had the hard time getting going too.
Yeah. There was trips to Yellowstone, and there was a trip apparently that you left us twins behind, and who watched us?
Yeah. And Annie watched you too.
Okay.
And we took the other 2 kids.
And
Another trip your mom and I went on was up to Yellowstone with my mom and dad and Wormley's. And we had an old trailer that they had made. And anyway, we was coming home and up in Idaho someplace, right over the border. I felt a jolt and I turned around and that trailer had just broken loose. It was up in the air and crashed down, and the 2 wheels went through a fence and up through a cornfield. I picked up our suitcase and got the handle, and the rest was smashed.
Oh,
So we had to wait there to get a record to get the stuff that back, and it was quite a end of the trip. But we was in them little trents and bears all around us.
and I know you have movies of Grandpa feeding bears
Yeah,
up.
that was dangerous, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dad fed it. We was in that old Ford, 9-passenger Ford.
Wow. That's pretty fun. Okay, who started the brown sugar in our food? What, did it come from your side of the family or Mom's side of the family?
It came from my dad's side.
Oh, I always thought opposite.
Yeah, Dad liked brown sugar in his spaghetti.
And we do too.
We cooked some the other day, didn't we, honey?
So, Mom must have just got used to putting brown sugar in everything, basically,
Yeah.
and that, because you liked it sweet. You had a sweet tooth. All my kids have sweet teeth. Yeah. Coming home from work and bird landing on your glasses. Can you remember that?
Oh yeah, we had that little parakeet.
Uh-huh.
And every time I'd come, he always ran all over the house where he wanted. I'd come home and he'd run over when I come in, land on my glasses and look down in my eye.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you remember how it died?
Yep, it got stuck in the door.
Well, because Colleen came home one day and shut the door and it slammed
Yeah.
into the door.
One time we had a friend there, or a relative, I think it was. He had a bald head and the bird ran in and landed on his head and scared him half to death.
We loved the birds there. Yeah. This is kind of a real personal question. Did you ever see Mom in a dream after she died or feel her presence?
I tried to feel what was going on there, and I felt her presence, I think, at one time. Not, just a day or two after she died. But anyway, I remember one time too, you know how your mom and my mom liked getting together?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, how they liked each other. Your mom done so much for Mom. Anyway, after Mom had died, your mom was in hospital with an operation. And this rocking chair in her bedroom, in her hospital room, started rocking, and she felt Mom's presence.
Okay. Cut. Okay, that was good.
Brian slept with me the night after your mom died. He's in that little bedroom, and he saw a light keep coming up and up, and it was scaring him to death. It ended up at the moon.
Oh, can you remember Colleen calling you the next day and asking you how Mom was?
No, I can't recall that.
And you said, well, I think she's fine now.
Yeah.
And she always felt bad that, because it was something that she'd always ask you, and she knew. What is the name of your spouse? That mom, first mom. You're my second mom. Love you, Lou.
What's the name of her?
Yeah, what was her full name?
Margie Patrice Stauffer, Frenette.
All right. And her siblings? What were their names?
Dwayne and Hal.
Okay. What about her parents' names?
Afton and
What was Gramps' name? Everest or
Is that Clee?
no? That's the other one.
gosh, I should know that.
Oh, I know. I
He's
should
gonna
know.
be on me for not knowing his name.
He's not going to see this.
He's watching right now.
Yeah, he already knows. He understands because we all have our senior moments. Everest, wasn't it kind of? Started with an E. Okay, well, anyway, we'll just pass that. Cut. Mike will kind of.
I'll have to go get the genealogy. Huh?
Yeah.
I'm looking it up, trying to look it up quickly, but it's not going quickly.
Well, I'll be asking him another question. What was the deal with Stauffer Lane in Murray? What did that all come about?
Well, Stauffer Lane, they owned that, the Stauffer family, and there was 4 or 5 Stauffers built homes in there, and that's where Marge's dad built their home, was right down Stauffer's Way.
Mom's dad built it there?
Yeah, Mom's dad.
Oh, okay. So, my grandpa Brockbank.
I don't know much about him.
Yeah.
Him and Grandma Brockbank didn't see eye to eye.
Oh, okay.
They were divorced, naturally.
Oh, see, I had no
Yeah.
idea. But did Mom live in that house then?
Yeah, your mom lived in that house. That's where she grew up.
Okay, so that's the Murray one. But then she lived in high school with Grandma Brockbank.
Lots of times she'd stay in there, but then she'd go home on weekends.
Oh, okay. Just so she could attend West High. And that.
Grandma Stauffer always had fried chicken when I went there.
Is that why you like fried chicken?
I don't know, I guess. But anyway, I had a lot of fried chicken there. That's the time your mama, she had to go out there when she had the mumps, don't you remember? No, I guess you'd be too young. But I think it was then I had Carla, and then I took Carla and had to have her outside the house to show her your mom inside the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was
Well-
just Carla.
So you're saying Mom had the mumps.
Yeah.
Now, isn't that when she was pregnant with Colleen and I?
I don't know. I don't think we had Brian yet. I don't know. I can't recall that dates really doing that.
Because Mom had, I think, or was it the measles, or was it mumps, measles? She had that with us twins, and the doctor told her to have an abortion. Can you remember that?
I know the one doctor, the idiot, asked her if she wanted an abortion, and she really got upset at him.
Well, I think she said she didn't even know what the word meant, but she knew it was
got
bad.
upset. She knew it was bad, and in fact, I think it was a relative, Dr. Brockbank, I think.
That's right. It was a relative.
Norman
Stauffer.
Oh my God!
How come I didn't know that?
But isn't there a middle name start with E?
Everett.
Yeah. See, we were on the trail.
Yeah.
The computer got it.
Yay! Oh, phew, thank goodness for them. Sometimes. How many kids did you guys want?
We wanted 3.
Okay.
So Heavenly Father thought we needed an extra one, so He gave us 4. We had 5 really.
Yes.
The first young boy died when he was just 1 day old.
I have down more about Larry. Can you tell us anything about Larry? Did you get to hold him after he was born?
Your mom got to hold him for just a little while, and they put him in this incubator type of thing. And I didn't hold him. But anyway, Uncle Eddie and I, we went in, and they said they better give him a name. So we went in, I gave him a name and a blessing at that time. And I wouldn't say anything about him going until at the end I said, "Thy will be done." And then I felt better.
Okay. Another cut.
And I had to go out and buy him this burial thing. I bought him a little green outfit.
And he was born on the 30th of December?
Right on the end of December, yeah.
And like 2 or 3 days later you had, it started the new year, apparently.
I think it was the 3rd of January, wasn't it? We buried him or something.
Was Mom able to attend?
Yeah, she came. We had her there and had her sit down and everything.
Okay. Now, I heard that one of Mom's brothers carried the casket by himself?
Hal carried it, the baby's casket.
Wow.
It was only this big.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he carried it.
How early do you think he was? Was he
I
2 or
think-
3 months? Two?
Yeah, he was. I think he was 7.5 months long. But most of our kids were born early.
Mhm.
They didn't have incubators at that time like they do now, or else could have lived. But we always claimed that he was supposed to go back to Heavenly Father anyway.
I'm pretty sure I think you're right on that. It's all in the Lord's hands.
Yeah.
The will be done, like you said, and he was a valiant spirit up in heaven, and
That's what we're claiming.
well, I don't think you have to claim it. We know it. Yeah. What else? Okay, let's see. Now, what line did the twins come from? The Stauffer line? Because wasn't their uncles?
Huh?
The line twins come from, like, was
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how they was. What line it was? How they had babies and twins and such.
did Mom have uncles that were twins though?
No, I don't think so.
'Cause-
Heavenly Father just wanted us to have 2 kids.
yeah,
No, I can't remember. I don't know who is it, the husband or the wife or whatever.
Okay, but I think it came from the Stauffer line
Did it really?
because I think Mom had uncles that were twins.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah, almost positive that.
that. Huh?
When Mom, the doctor started Mom with the twins, right?
Yeah.
Because he said she's too big.
Mm.
Does that ring a bell?
That kind of rings a bell, yeah.
And you didn't know you were having twins.
No, we didn't know.
But Isla did. Isla always said you're having twins. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, she just thought that because your mom was so big.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, that's the thing that's why I was wondering why she was so long in labor. When they finally came and got me, I went up there and the nurse had a baby in each arm, and I said, well, which one's mine? She said, both of them, and I'm pretty near keeled over. And anyway, why it was so long for me to go up, your mom says I want to be awake when he comes up and sees the babies.
That's funny. The story I've heard, you might have to try to clear it up, that Dr. Brockbank, a relative, because he started Mom, found out there was 2 that he didn't deliver choline, the intern had to. Does that ring a bell?
No, I don't think he was even the doctor for the twins.
Oh, okay.
No, he wasn't the doctor then.
Okay.
No, they came right close to each other, and I think it was a regular doctor. I think can't remember what his name was. I think it was Tanner or something.
No, okay. A story that if you had twins, you would go join the Navy or Army or something?
Yeah, that was just a kidding thing, you know.
Okay. Well, when you saw us, were we blue at that time? You were saying that we were born blue or something?
You really, I thought for sure I was going to have to give 2 names again, like I did for Larry. You little guys, you didn't look very good to me. Yeah, you didn't
Okay.
look too hot.
I found the twins, the uncles.
Oh, okay.
It's William Frederick Stauffer and Eugene Leroy Stauffer.
Oh, good.
March 11th, 1899, both born.
You've got all the genealogy on there.
Yeah.
I guess I've got it on my genealogy someplace, I think.
Yeah.
You still got more?
Yeah. I'm just kind of going over some of the questions that I just asked. How long did it take for us twins to come home?
Well, I think, what was it? Was it 5 days or something like that? I don't know. Anyway, your mom was so upset that she couldn't bring the babies home at that time, but it wasn't really a long time. I couldn't tell you. Do you have any?
I heard 2 weeks,
I don't know if it was 2 weeks.
and they had us trained to sleep during the night, kind of, but you had to wake us up to feed us.
Yeah, nighttime when they come home, but your mom, being tired out and having twins in them. But I remember at nighttime, the time to get up and that, and if you woke up, I'd wake the other one up, and I'd have the bottles getting warm and everything, and then I'd test the water or the milk and that. Then I'd sit down with the baby in each arm and the bottle in each mouth.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't recall that how long you was in the hospital.
I understand Colleen was more in the incubator longer than I was because she had a concussion.
Yeah, I think she was a little longer than that. Yeah.
How did you choose each of your children's names?
I don't know how come one time we was thinking of Joy and Jill,
Okay.
but we decided on Karen and Colleen.
And just out of the blue,
I
kind of.
think just out of the blue. I don't know if we had a book there or not. I can't remember. But your mom probably really wanted them names, so that's how we got them.
And then what about like Larry? Was that come from a certain family member or anything?
Nope. Edward is, of course, after me. Larry Edward. Because my name is Edward. And we liked Larry. We liked just the sound of it, as far as I know.
Yeah, I
I
like.
think your mom decided on that, and I decided on Edward.
And you just had to think of it basically when you were in the hospital.
Yep.
Just on the spot like that, kind of. Do you remember any of the kids' births? I mean.
Yours is the 28th, isn't it?
Yes, September 28th.
September 28th. Brian is November 13th, and Carla's is June the 29th, I think, or something. Or the 19th.
Yeah, 29. Yeah, the 19th.
How did
What-
Carla and Brian get their names? The same thing.
Yeah, Carla and Brian, same thing with names.
I don't know why we came up with them names.
But it's probably just something that you liked.
Something we liked, yeah. We liked them. We always thought together. I mean, neither one of us picked it out individually. We went over names and then decided on them.
Yeah. Okay. But on the births, like Carla, when she was born, she was early,
Yeah,
but she was healthy and got to come home.
yeah, right,
And same with Brian
right.
and that. What'd you think when you got a boy? I mean, your second boy.
Yeah,
And
you never know what you're getting them days.
That's right.
Yeah, I was glad to have a boy. I was glad to have a boy, so it worked out good.
Yeah. All is well.
But I love my daughters too, just the same.
Yes. And I love you too. Can you remember when all of us kids had chicken pox?
Yes, I can. We've got pictures of you on the movies with chicken pox there. And you got your Halloween things on watching the kids. You couldn't go to the door. That was a sad day.
Yeah, but we all had them at the same time, so that I guess
they all had those things on your face.
having all 4 kids with chickenpox at the same time is kind of rare, I would think. When Colleen and I were baptized, can you remember Daddy Longlegger being in the water?
Oh, I can't remember that.
Okay, Colleen does.
Does she really?
Yeah, I can't. I can't even remember my baptism day.
Well, you was up at the temple.
No, we never got baptized at the temple. We were at a ward house.
Oh yeah, Carla was up there at the temple. Yeah, you were over in.
On 3rd West
yeah.
and 3rd West and something, 21st South, 17th South, something like that. Yeah. Did you have to one of the kids when we went under the water did any tow come up or anything that you have
No, I did it right the first time.
All right.
I made sure you got down there.
Okay. I think I'm getting most of it, huh, LaRue? What do you think? Okay. Okay, when we were children, where did we go on vacations?
Well, we mainly went camping. That was our main things, and then of course we went down to St. George, down to the lake that's down there. I don't know what that is. Can't remember what lake it was. I know it wasn't Lake Powell. And of course we went down south over, California and up the coast.
I was in junior high at that time.
Huh?
I was in junior high.
And Carla, I got so I could go up that,
Guardsman's Pass? Or-
no, what's that one up there in, going over to, California. You go over to that, and that's the Donner's Pass.
Oh, Donner's
And
Pass.
my head went screwy, and I couldn't drive. Carla had to drive. And then we got down to California and go to San Francisco and go over that bridge and have to get out the other side and go across a couple of lanes of traffic to go where we was going to the Navy base. She had to drive because I was too nervous and couldn't do it.
What about Mom? Did she know how to drive?
She wouldn't drive. She'd probably crash us.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We'll get to that one too. That's funny.
No, your mom, if she looked over this place over there, she hadn't actually drove it.
Oh, that's funny. Well, she followed her eyes. When we would go camping, how long would we camp? A week?
Sometimes
Or?
we camped close to a week, yeah.
Okay.
One time Colleen got the boils, remember that? And
Eh.
there another time there was the hatch of those bugs and Carla wouldn't come out of the tent.
Oh,
And then remember you when you caught a fish, you always liked to open it up and see what was inside.
no, always. Because I wanted to know if it had eggs in it.
Yeah.
Ew.
Colleen wouldn't hardly touch them.
Yeah. Colleen, about the boils. She wanted me to ask you this, but we know it's not true. She goes, "Did I ruin our vacation because we had to go home early?"
No, you didn't go home early, but she sure had to sit around, I'll tell you.
Oh, she worries about that. This is Colleen and Carla. They remember watching rainstorms with you. And can you remember?
Yeah, whenever there's a rainstorm and thunder and lightning, we sat on the front porch, on the windowsill and watched it. Colleen liked it most of the time, but Carla did come. And I don't know, I guess you had come too, I don't know.
Yeah. Probably, but I don't really remember it.
Yeah, I remember it quite well.
And you would look at clouds and Colleen would ask you questions and
Yeah.
you would comfort her.
She liked it outside a lot.
Yeah.
I still like thunderstorms, and so does she, I know.
I do.
And you get to see them better than any of us.
Yeah, pretty much. It's wonderful.